In the country here.
We have 4 or 5 world-class players. Each person gets 3 chances at a particular trick. 3 points if they make it on the first try, 2 points on the second, 1 on the third.
And you were telling me these are skill trick shots rather than what you might call geometric ones or setup ones.
You know, setup shots are where you set them up and anyone can make it. These shots are, we set them up for the players, but there's a lot of skill involved.
And we're going to show you that there's a lot of skill involved when we come back with the first round of competition in the finals of the World Trick Shot Championships. Let's take a look at the field in the trick shot competition. Steve Geller of Minot, North Dakota. Bobby Legg from Princeton, Indiana. Mike Massey, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Louis Roberts, St. Louis, Missouri. Gloria Walker, Quakertown, Pennsylvania. And Tom Spencer of Des Plaines, Illinois. Now here are the 3 finalists in the trick shot. Paul Gurney is from Kansas City, Missouri. He's a 6 times and current World Pocket Billiard Artistic Trick and Fancy Shot Champion. He's made several national TV appearances. Tom Rossman is from Decatur, Illinois. He started playing pool in the early 70s while in college. He participated in the National 8-Ball competition, finished second in the trick shot the same year. And here's Jim Mattia of Holt, Michigan, youngest player to win back-to-back 71 and 72 world titles. Tournament of Champion winners in New Mexico in 1976 as well. And we're ready now to start the first trick shot. And Jerry, perhaps you can explain what's involved.
Object here is to strike the cue ball into the first ball, into that pocket, draw the cue ball back, and pocket the ball at the other end of the table.
All right, and our first contestant here is going to be Mattia, and here's his first try.
Looks good.
Nothing to it, Jerry.
Great shot.
This one in degree of difficulty wouldn't rank along with some we're going to see later, would it?
Some we'll see later are much more difficult than this.
Okay, now it's Paul Gurney's chance. Same shot. Oh.
Miscue.
That has to be embarrassing. You know, duffers in any sport do things like that, but it shows that the good ones can do it too.
Well, that's true. Especially in a shot like this, you have to hit the cue ball so low to put that spin on it. And it can happen to anybody at any time.
But he shows that on the second try, that was all just a mistake, that opening one. So he made it on his second try. That gives him 2 points. Mattia, of course, picked up 3 points for doing it his first try. Here's Rossman. Would you consider him the dark horse in the field?
Oh, for sure. Most people here haven't heard too much about the man. Great player, and he really practices trick shots. He is definitely the dark horse.
Well, he didn't quite get the angle of the draw.
Right. He cut the ball a little bit too much. Notice how the cue ball starts out and curves back towards the opposite end of the table. It just doesn't go straight back. Watch this.
Okay. Here comes the curve, yep. And he's got it for 2 points. So that was our first one. Now trick shot number 2. What's happening here, Jerry?
Well, on trick shot number 2, the object is to shoot the cue ball 3 cushions. Then you must make the cue ball go through the bag. It tips the bag over, goes out the other end of the bag, and pockets the other object ball.
Easy to say. Well, here's Mattia with his first try.
Great, he did it first time.
Nothing to it.
He loved it, too.
Well, that gives him, he's made both the first 2 shots in his first try, gives him a total of 6 points. Now Paul Gurney. No miscue this time with his first shot.
Well, we hope not. This is not easy. You've got to hit the rail in exactly the right place with exactly the right amount of English.
Well, he got the ball in, but he missed the bag.
Right.
So they set it up again. He gets a second try.
Beautiful.
And it's Rossman's turn. That trick shot number 2. The secret just the angles on this one, Jerry?
Well, they know pretty much where to hit. Every table is different, and everyone puts a little more, a little less spin on the cue ball. Great shot.
Well, Rossman makes it on his first try, so that's trick shot number 2. You can see the points on your television screen now. We're coming up to trick shot number 3. What happens
This is a
here?
beauty. You strike the cue ball into the first ball. It knocks the second ball out of the way. The cue ball continues and pockets the third ball in front of the pocket.
All right, Mattia has made his first 2 trick shots on his first try. We'll see if he can keep that hot streak going.
Beautiful, beautiful shot.
He's on a roll. He's got the maximum number of points, 9 after 3 shots, and now it's time for Gurney to try the same shot.
This is not easy shot, especially with that 9 ball so far from the corner pocket. He makes it his first time.
These 3, of course, are the finalists. They advanced through the qualifying. We mentioned the other entrants earlier. And here's Rossman. Oh, he did it too. Who would have thought all 3 on the first try?
Never would have thought that. That's a difficult shot.
Okay, we're going to come back with trick shot number 4. You see the standings, the early leader Mattia, right after this. We're coming up now on trick shot number 4 in the World Championship, the McDermott Masters. And Jerry, tell us about this one.
Well, with the cue ball right in front of the side pocket, you have to hit it with a lot of left-hand English and go around in front of the object ball and yet bank the object ball in the side pocket. This has got to be probably the toughest of all the trick shots in the contest.
Is there a danger of having the 2 balls kiss?
Yes. Also, there's a danger that the object ball might get there first, and the rule states that the cue ball has to go by the side pocket first.
Well, we're looking at Jimmy Mattia, who had a real streak going. He had made all 3 first shots with his first try. He's not going to have that this time. He's missed his first attempt. Here's attempt number 2.
The hard part here is hitting the cue ball with so much English and yet hitting just the edge of that object ball. Difficult shot.
Yeah, came closer, but he's gone down now to the 3rd attempt.
Switched it the first time over there.
Overcut that one.
Yeah, not going to make it. So it's nothing for 3 on trick shot number 4 for Jimmy Mattia. We'll see if Paul Gurney can master this one. How do you decide, Jerry, which trick shots are going to be used in a competition like this?
Well, the people who are running the tournament went through trick shot books and talked to pros and asked them what would be good to do, and there have been many other trick shot competitions, but this is the best one I've seen where they use diversified shots. It's not all set up shots, so forth. It's really the fairest way I've ever seen.
Some of those you see people do at times are really just the way the balls are lined up and not through a great amount of skill, correct?
That's for sure. Some you set up and anybody can make it, and it goes all the way down to where the next step will be to set it up, and you have to know how to set it up. A lot of knowledge involved in just setting it up. The next trick shot might be a lot of knowledge involved setting it up and a lot of knowledge to know how to execute it. So there are many variables.
Well, this one looks innocuous enough, but obviously it's very difficult. People are having trouble. Mattia and Gurney couldn't do it in 3 tries. We'll see if Rossman can do it. We should mention, too, that points are important, but it's shots completed and not points that determine the winner unless there's a tie. Then points would determine.
That's correct, Hank. It's who makes the most shots that's the winner, and the points just breaks a tie.
Okay. Well, in shots made, each of them had made 3. Going into this trick, if Rossman could pull it off here with his last try, then he would be the only one to complete all first four shots. Oh, he got that kiss. And so, number 4, obviously very difficult. You can see the standings. Each of them has made 3 shots. In points, Mattia 9, Rossman 8, and Gurney has 7. Shot number 5.
Shot number 5. The cue ball strikes the object ball, hitting it into the rail. The ball actually picks up spin off the rail, comes back 3 cushions into the side pocket behind the cue ball.
Okay, here's Gurney going first here.
A little bit hard. You have to shoot the shot hard, but he maybe had the butt end of the cue elevated just a little bit.
Okay, second try for Paul Gurney.
This is a pretty shot. There it is.
I think you're right. Now, the fact that the cue ball went off down into the corner pocket doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter on this particular trick shot.
Okay, Rossman's turn now. His first try.
3.
Oh,
great shot. Little body English there.
Yeah, he kind of coaxed that one in. Well, that puts him up to 11 points, and he and Gurney both made 4 out of the 5 shots. Mattia here trying to maintain his lead in both points and tied with shots. Wasn't all that difficult as far as our players were concerned, apparently, and so Mattia continues to lead in points with 12. And we're moving on now to shot number 6.
Shot number 6, the 3 balls are ahead of the cue ball for weight. You shoot, trying to shoot the cue ball through those balls with a lot of spin. Cue ball comes back around the triangle and pockets that ball in the corner pocket. You cannot hit the triangle on this shot. There he hit the triangle.
Okay, so that if you did make it, that wouldn't count.
That's correct. This is an extremely hard shot to execute. Sometimes you jump the cue ball. It's very difficult. It's a beautiful shot when it works. Watch the cue ball. See, he hit the triangle, and that will not count.
Oh, he had made it, but he doesn't get credit for it because he hit the rack or the triangle.
Right.
Okay. Well, he's got one more try at it.
This is a beautiful, beautiful trick shot. It's been around a long time. People like to see it. Watch the cue ball.
Paul Gurney on his 3rd try. He's now made 5 out of the 6 shots attempted. He has 10 points. Here's Rossman.
Beautiful.
Oh. Cue ball made its turn and came down towards that pocket, but not quite enough to...
Made the turn a little bit too late. Hit the triangle.
Yeah, so that would count. These guys are so good. Now, we saw Gurney do that on his 3rd try. These are so good. They're so good. They make it look easier than it is, don't they?
Well, a lot of years of practice and some knowledge of what goes on with the interaction between the balls. They're all pool smart.
Now, that one, he didn't really come close at all. So that means that the Rossman falls behind. They were all tied with 4 out of 5, and now Gurney's 5 out of 6 shots completed, and Mattia will try to stay even with him and continue his lead in points probably if he can make this shot number 6. Didn't get the draw.
Went up and started right. He didn't shoot it quite low enough on the cue ball.
Second try for Jimmy Mattia. Oh, look at that.
Looks nice.
5 out of 6 now for Mattia, the same as Gurney, and that's his bride, and we'll talk more about her later. We're going to come up now on shot number 7. Tell us about this one, Jerry.
Okay, this is what's called the over and under shot. The object is to pocket the first ball in the corner pocket, jump the cue ball over the stick, and then with backspin come back under the stick and pocket the second ball.
You're kidding. That can be done. It can be done?
Yes, it can. It's the old over and under shot. Cue ball jumps over the rake, comes back under the rake. Difficult shot.
Well, he got it back under, but not in the direction he needed. That's Gurney.
He caught the rail there, that's why. Plus, you have to make that first ball. That's very difficult. You have to elevate the butt of the cue.
That rake or whatever, that bridge, that's sometimes used by shooting pool, right? When you've got a...
It's used whenever you can't reach a shot and you use the bridge. It's best not to stretch too far. You'll lose control of the cue. Oh, he missed his third shot.
Well, that means that Paul Gurney has made 5 of the 7 shots. We're on number 7 now, of course. He has 10 points. Tom Rossman. Gurney shakes his head. Uses that chalk and cues up. Chalk's awfully important, isn't it?
Extremely important to the pros because they hit the cue ball many times much farther to the edge of the cue ball than amateurs do, and therefore chalk is a must.
Oh, that was so close. He knew it. Some of the crowd at the Eagles Club watching.
You notice the butt end of the cue stick is elevated. That's the only way you can get the cue ball to jump like that. Yes, causes it to leave the surface of the table just a little so that when it strikes that object ball, it jumps up in the air.
Chance for Mattia here to take over the lead because neither of his other 2 opponents could make this shot number 7.
Do it, Jim. Do it, Jim.
Oh,
Look at this.
Just not quite enough draw?
Not quite enough backspin and draw, correct.
Hit it to dig away.
Mattia retains his sense of humor. There's his wife, and she shoots pool too.
Yeah, she is one of the top players in Europe, and since coming over here is this showing she's got what it takes.
Again, he's getting the ball over the bridge, but he can't get it to come back with enough authority.
This is a tough shot. It has to be executed so well. And whenever you have the butt end of the cue up in the air, you do lose accuracy. It's one of the biggest flaws beginners make is to hold the rear end of the cue up in the air too high. You lose accuracy.
Oh,
Nice hand.
no, didn't count. Well, that was a tough one, shot number 7. And it means that we have a tie. Gurney and Mattia both with 5 out of 7. Rossman with 4 out of 7. Shot number 8's tough, too, and it's coming up next. I'm Hank Stoddard, along with Jerry Brysat. We're bringing you the finals of the World Trick Shot Competition in the McDermott Masters event. And we're about halfway through. They have 15 shots to make. And now we're going to show you a trick shot number 8. What's involved here, Jerry?
Well, there's 2 parts to the shot. First, you must strike the cue ball into the first object ball, hit the rail, and then the cue ball has to curve around the 8 ball, and then go back and make the other ball that his cue's on now.
Okay, that sounds all rather complicated. We'll get a better idea when we see somebody try it here, I think.
Right. Now what he's going to try to do, he strikes the first object ball, puts it in the pocket, then the cue ball curves around the 8 ball and must come over and make this other ball. And then he's got to shoot it at the right speed. You saw it curve, but not quite enough. Then the cue ball has to stay right near that second object ball he's trying to make so that he can put the 8 ball back in the first pocket.
Okay, 2 parts here.
Oh, he miscued. That's what we were talking about earlier, that chalk, you're shooting the ball so high that it's easy to miscue.
I imagine somebody that's only played pool one or two times thinks, how can a guy of this caliber do that? But he's not striking the ball in the same place the average Joe.
There he curved a little bit too quickly.
Well, that was Rossman. And he's nothing for 3 on trick shot number 8. And so that gives him 4 of the 8 shots that he has made. He trails at this stage because Mattia coming up next and Gurney both had made 5 of the first 7. And they lead in points as well. Mattia particularly has a points lead, 3-point lead. But remember, points are only in case of tiebreaker.
Right, now as I was saying, Hank, this shot is easier than they're making it look here. It's easy to make those first 2 generally for a pro player like this. But now he has to shoot the 8 ball back in the other corner.
He may have
now, he made
himself.
The first part. He might have corner hooked himself here. So they shoot this a little softer than they normally would if they were just trying to make the 2 balls in the corner pockets, okay?
No, I don't think he is corner. Oh, so he made the tough part and missed the easy part.
Missed the easy part. But if he was corner, behind the corner there, he couldn't have made it.
Yeah, that maybe was a factor. I would think maybe, too, lack of concentration may be a factor. The first time you concentrate so hard in the tough part, then you take the second one.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Jimmy Mattia.
Hope he's not looking over here for help.
You could give me some good advice. I just shrug my shoulders.
A little too much.
Yeah, he would have been in better position to make the 8 ball that time, had he
Correct.
got that first one into the corner. Well, the only one with a chance now to make trick shot number 8 in the World Championship, McDermott Masters, Paul Gurney. Here he is. First try.
Not quite enough top spin. They're striking the cue ball way above center and slightly to the right. There, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. He should have this shot.
All right, this
is the easy part.
Put him into the lead.
Now here's
all
where
by
a
himself.
letdown can happen. You made the hardest part, and you got perfect position. This is where the let-up could come.
All he has to do is hit the cushion and the ball at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't go in.
Oh.
It did not go in. Look at Gurney.
Hi, Paul.
He's a routine shot to end it there, and he couldn't make it. Well, maybe he can do it. He's got one more try left, right? Maybe he can do it on his 3rd try. Who'd have believed it?
Paul puts on exhibitions like this all over the world. He's really great at it. He has a lot of stories to tell about certain shots, so forth. If you ever get a chance to see it, be sure you do.
And that time he didn't do the difficult part. So trick shot number 8, a little too much for our 3 contestants. And as a result, Mattia and Gurney still 5 out of 8 shots made. Mattia with 14 points and Rossman 11 and Gurney 10 in the points. Here's number 9.
Here's a neat shot. The object ball in the center of the table there is sitting on a piece of chalk. The object is to shoot the cue ball 5 cushions, bump into that object ball without knocking it off the chalk.
Oh.
It takes great speed control, and you've got to find the right spot to shoot the cue ball with exactly the right amount of spin.
Okay, so
1, 2, 3,
angle and
4. There's his 5 cushions.
Oh, no.
Oh, he was short.
Rossman trailing in the competition. As we said, he was kind of the dark horse. These other 2 have the bigger reputations. True?
For certain, yes. Oh, he knocked it off the chalk.
Not by much. He needs just to hit it just a little bit, not quite as hard, huh?
A little softer. He hit the angle was perfect. If you want to see this shot, there's a way that's really tough to do this shot where you set the ball itself on the spot and put a coin on top and touch the ball without the coin rolling off.
That's even tougher.
When you master this one, then you can go into that one.
Here,
Get it.
Beautiful.
Oh, he did it.
He did it. Great shot.
Well, it came on a 3rd try for Rossman, but that gives him 5 out of 9 shots completed and 12 points. Here's Mattia. Remember, we have a round of 15 shots here to determine the world champion. Looked like it was pretty good for weight.
It was pretty good for speed there. And what he'll do is just change either the spot on the rail that he's shooting at or use a little bit less English.
And you say while all pool tables have the same dimensions, there is a difference one table to another.
Yes, there is. Speed of the cloth, how tight the cloth is put on, what kind of cloth it is. And you have to get used to them.
Are some people, you know, like in bowling or in golf, some people are good on their home course or their home lanes. Are some pool players like that too?
Yes, sir, Hank. Sure.
Don't play a guy in his home table, huh?
That's sad but true.
Okay, Paul Gurney here is going to try. Matai didn't make it in 3 tries.
I should point out most of these pros can shoot extremely good pool on any pool table.
Oh, look at this. He went over and sat down. He knew it, I think.
He knew it.
Beautiful on his first try, and that puts Gurney into the lead. He's 6 of 9. The other 2 are 5 of 9, and we're going into trick shot number 10. And this is a cute one, too.
This is a nice shot. They should not have a lot of trouble with this. It looks tough. Cue ball has to shoot into the rail. He shoots the cue ball into the rail. It curves around those 2 balls and pockets the object ball in the corner pocket.
Okay, and I noticed in the rules here it says you cannot scratch on this one, so that if the cue ball ends up in a pocket, no good.
That's correct. Notice there's a ball right next to the cue ball there, so that's why you have to shoot the cue ball into the rail with beautiful curve around those 2 balls. You must hit the cue ball with a lot of draw, way below center, at just the right speed so it curves at the right time to get around those 2 balls.
That brought the first smile to Rossman's face that we had seen in a while. Actually, he made the last shot, too, on his 3rd try. He makes it on the first try here, and here's Mattia. He had the early lead, but he's in a little slump the last couple of shots. We'll see if he can come back. Not this time.
Speed is very important on this shot. If it curves too quick, it'll hit those 2 balls. If it curves too late, it won't put the ball in the corner.
Nice shot, yeah.
Beautiful. Do it just right. That's what happens on his 2nd try, Mattia. So both Rossman and Mattia are 6 out of 10 in shots made. And Mattia has 16 points, Rossman 15 points. And here's Gurney, who in that last shot made it with no difficulty his first try. Let's see if he's on a roll or not. Oh, close.
He hit that very well. Quite enough backspin on the cue ball. His speed is perfect.
Paul's a popular guy with the fans, isn't he?
Oh, he is. A lot of these people that come to these tournaments have seen him in different parts of the country. He travels all over the world doing it, and just a very personable gentleman.
Well, this one is not to his liking, at least not tonight. And as a result, we've completed 10, and everybody's even, 6 out of 10. Each of the 3 have made 6 out of 10. We go into trick shot number 11.
Trick shot number 11 is one that Mosconi made a long time ago in a world tournament, where he snookered behind the 2 balls, shoots a cue ball, 5 cushions, and puts it in the corner, puts an object ball in the corner pocket. Extremely difficult shot.
I would agree. It would certainly seem to be. The legendary Willie Mosconi.
He actually made that in a world tournament.
So it wasn't a trick shot he was demonstrating.
That's
he was
correct.
Playing in a regular pool tournament.
Yes.
That might demoralize your opponent a bit.
I guess it would.
The high ball will not hit it this far.
Oh, that
Looks like it's
so... Oh, he's coming close.
after 5 cushions, 1/2 inch off.
Yeah, this has to be tremendously demanding, this one. He's got to move.
That looks shorter yet. That looks better yet.
Hard enough. It's a hard enough.
He did it!
Great shot.
Oh, all right. Tom Rossman, on his 3rd try at trick shot number 11, makes it, and he's a happy young man. And here's Jimmy Mattia getting his turn at it. You mentioned Jerry Mosconi. Was he the best ever?
Willie Mosconi was the greatest player of the last half century. He just dominated the sport for years. Great player.
Did you ever play against him?
Many times.
Uh-huh.
Never beat the man.
Never managed to beat him?
No, I didn't.
Well, I
Great
know you
player.
were no slouch yourself, Jerry, so that speaks well for Mosconi's ability. Now, I'm using it in past tense. You still, you can still wield a cue
Well,
stick.
Mosconi's been retired for several years, and came out of retirement with the TV shows with Minnesota Fats, so forth. Still a great player, but he doesn't do it competitively in world tournaments, so forth anymore.
Rossman has come from behind and taken over the lead here. Oh, wait a second. We've got more tries coming up here. Well, we got Gurney coming up here. I was going to go to a commercial too soon.
Paul hit it a little long. This is a tough shot.
You mentioned Mosconi. You mentioned Minnesota Fats. I've heard people say that he was a showman, but not all that great. Is that true?
That's true, but I hear rumors that he used to be a very good pool hustler.
Uh-huh.
And not necessarily a world champion type player, but back in the streets of New York. But he was a professional player.
Oh, yeah. But
gotta
not
remember
in the
that.
class of Mosconi.
That's correct.
Well, I almost didn't give Paul Gurney his tries here, but I don't think it made much difference because Gurney's having troubles here. And so what has happened is we have a new leader, and it's Tom Rossman, the dark horse. 3 more shots coming up. The next one's shot number 12 after these messages. We're back with shot number 12 coming up now in the World Pool Tournament Trick Shot Finals. And on shot 12, Jerry Bryseth, what do they have to do?
Well, this is called a time shot. The cue ball strikes the 9 at the edge, and as the 9 ball comes off the rail, the cue ball, in the meantime, strikes the rail, comes back, and knocks the 9 back in the corner pocket.
And if you can do that...
This is a time shot. Now watch, the 9 will come off the rail, a cue ball will come to this rail and kick it back in the corner. That's what they're trying to do. He's going to hit it real thin.
This is Mattia.
Very close.
Okay. Well, we have a new leader after the 11th shot there. The only one to make it was Rossman, that Willie Mosconi shot, and as a result, he's made 7 of the 11 first shots, and now on shot number 12, Mattia and Gurney both trail him by 1 shot.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
And his bride enjoyed that one. Gurney's try now. If you join us late, you're watching the finals of the World Pool Tournament Trick Shot Division from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The McDermott Masters. Second try coming up with this shot for Paul Gurney.
Beautiful shot.
Now we'll have Rossman. All Rossman has to do, and I say all rather ill-advisedly, but all he has to do is, if he makes his last 4 shots, he's got it. Right?
That's right. He's definitely the dark horse. He's leading and making the first try. He's on a roll.
Not only does he lead now in the number of shots made, 8 out of 12. The other 2 are 7 out of 12, but he has taken over the lead in points because he made the this one on his first try. He's got 19 points. So if that's a tiebreaker factor, here's 13.
This is a masse shot, a partial masse. Object is the cue ball is froze to the first ball, and you have to elevate the cue and cause the cue ball to pass up the first ball that is froze against and go down the table, and the cue ball must get down the table and put that ball in the corner before the ball that was froze to gets there.
Okay, if somebody does it, as in some of the other ones, you get a better idea of what you're talking about if you can see it here.
Now watch the cue ball. It must pass up that first ball. They're not doing it there. The shot looks impossible if you've never seen it before.
How do you get the cue ball to with a lot of topping?
Extreme top right-hand English in this case. Hitting it way on the extreme top of the cue ball gives it more speed than the ball you're striking it against, and the right-hand English makes it curve in. There he did not do it again.
Well, that time the cue ball was accelerating. It had caught up to the ball in front. Let's see if Gurney has any more success.
This is a fairly new shot. This is one of the few shots. It's not an old shot. See, the cue ball passed it up, but it did not curve back in and pocket the other ball. When this shot works, Hank, it's beautiful.
Well, let's hope one of them makes it here so we can watch that.
There, it got past the object ball, but did not curve back in and pocket the one hanging in the corner.
So what's he doing? Getting enough topping, but not enough right-hand side?
That's correct in this case. And you must make both balls.
To add to the complications there.
There, he made, it curved back, but not quite enough.
Well, there's only one man with a chance at it now, and if he could do it, that would put him,
he would
give him
take
a two-shot lead.
He would take a commanding lead, no question.
We're talking about Cater's Tom Rossman.
Watch that cue ball. No, didn't quite pass up the other ball.
So he seemed to have the angle, but not enough, maybe not enough topping. Let's see. Second try.
Look.
Looks good. Great. Look at him.
Great. He loves it.
I guess he now has a two-shot lead. He's made 9 of the 13 required shots and is justifiably happy. The other two fellas both made 7. So with 2 shots remaining, we've got Rossman with the lead. Here's
a shot here is to strike the yellow ball, and the cue ball curves around, knocks the first ball in, and then the other ball goes in the pocket. You must make both balls. In this case, well, we'll see when he shoots here. He has to cut the first ball in the side pocket, but the cue ball has to curve around and make the ball hanging in the side before the first ball he strikes gets there. Didn't work. Extremely difficult.
I guess you got, and Mataya's young lady there is getting a little concerned here. He's trailing by 2. No.
You're striking that first ball so thin to cut it in. The cue ball must have a lot of backspin on it to curve around and make that ball hanging in the side pocket.
I tell you, just to make the first ball will be enough of a challenge to me.
Yes. A little hard. A little hard.
Well, Mataya unable to make this one. Here's Paul Gurney next.
Here's another shot that when it's executed right, it's a beautiful shot. The cue ball just makes a nice big curve, comes around, puts that ball in the side pocket, and then the first ball he hits goes in after that. It's beautiful when it's done. A little bit too much curve on the... He made the 2 ball, though. He would have made the first ball.
Yeah, he seems to have a better idea at the shot, at least tonight on this table, than Mataya.
Right.
Second try for Paul Gurney.
Paul does this shot pretty well. Good as anybody. Looks good.
Watch
Looks
it.
good.
Oh,
beautiful.
That's amazing. Paul Gurney on a second try. That gives him 8 out of 14, so he's 1 ahead of Mataya. But Rossman can retain that 2-stroke lead and, in effect, wrap it up right here if he can make it. Nobody'd be able to catch him on the last shot.
He overcut it.
McDermott Masters, finals of the trick shot competition, World Open Pool Tournament, and in talking to spectators and some of the players, Jerry, they seem impressed by this tournament.
Very much so far. It's just been running smooth as silk, run very professionally. Everybody's happy. That's unusual. Usually have a complaint here or there. This tournament is just being run so well. It's the best I've ever seen.
Well, Rossman, one more try. If he should make this shot, it isn't all over, but the last shot will be academic because he will have clinched the title. If he doesn't, well, then only Gurney could tie him in the last trick.
No.
Yeah, I think we've eliminated Mattia, haven't we? Well, we're going to go down to the last shot, and it's still Rossman leading with Gurney a chance to catch him perhaps on this last shot.
There's a shot anyone can try at home. We have a piece of paper in the middle of the pool table. They strike the cue ball 4 cushions and try to put the cue ball, make the cue ball stop on the piece of paper. Extremely difficult. It's strictly speed control. You have to have a little accuracy, the right amount of spin on the cue ball and so forth. Extremely difficult.
I believe it. Here it comes. This is Mattia. Not quite enough speed. Arithmetic was never my greatest subject, but I have now just figured out that no matter what happens here, Rossman's got it won.
Yes, he does.
Because even if Gurney should make this and Rossman not make it, they would be tied in shots made at 9 each. But Gurney trails by 4 points, and the most he could pick up in the shot is 3.
Right, that shot he just shot was perfect speed, just not quite the right angle or English or a combination of the two.
It was very close.
That's too slow.
Looks a little short.
Yeah, he said, nah, that's too slow. You could hear him say that as soon as he let it go. Well, that's it for Jimmy Mattia. His final total, and we can tell you, would be 7 out of 15 shots made for 18 points. Here's Gurney. He's made 8 of the first 14. This is the last trick shot.
If you have a pool table in your house, this is a fun shot to try.
Would you say that, let's
Too
see.
hard, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just a little. He was going to move the paper. Once you've got it now, I would assume we were talking earlier about the variance in pool tables. Would this be true, particularly of a shot of this nature?
Yes, it would, a little bit, but it's just so critical on the speed, and you can hit the cue ball just a fraction of an inch too far to the right or left.
Here.
And you might have the proper speed. See, now that was, how much too hard did he shoot that? A couple of ounces or whatever?
It looked like he had. I thought he had it, but you're right. It's just amazing the touch you have to have.
Exactly.
Too hard?
A little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one player yet.
Okay. It's all down to this young man.
Well, Rossman can't lose.
No. Even if he doesn't do it here, he's won it. And he knows it. He's already acknowledging the crowd here. He'd like to make it, though, to sort of top things off.
Sure would.
Maybe. No. Oh, it's still going.
A little short. It's about the closest anybody has come.
He had the angle, didn't he?
Angle and the speed.
Will be right after the competition.
That looks a little short. Whoops.
You know, in some sports, Jerry, like golf, you're always got to be quiet. They don't want you to talk. Seems to me the pool players can do what they have to do no matter what's going on.
Well, pool players, when they're playing in good competition like this for a lot of money, they like it quiet also, basically. Usually the crowd respects it, as in golf.
Hey.
You hit 2 of the best ones you did for either one.
Well, Tom Rossman came closest. It didn't really matter. He is the champion. You see his name on the bottom of the screen, and we'll be back with an interview with the champion trick shot player in the world, Tom Rossman, right after this. Well, here's the winner, Tom Rossman. And Tom, in describing the match, we said, Jerry, who has far more expertise than me, obviously, said he thought that you had to be considered the dark horse. Did you consider yourself the dark horse against those two fellas?
Yeah, they've had a lot more experience than I have, and I just practice trick shots in my spare time. I haven't done any major work in it, so I was pretty much of a dark horse, I'd say.
The smile got bigger the more shots you made.
Oh, I get excited. I love this kind of stuff, I'll tell you. It's just exciting to shoot them. These shots we shot were very high difficulty factor. And when you make a shot like that, it's really an excitement to an individual who loves the game. So, yeah, it's quite an excitement all the way around for me.
Jerry?
I was going to ask Tom, did you see anything new trick shots? Had you seen them all before, or were there a couple of new ones that you hadn't seen before?
Well, I tell you what, I've seen most of the shots, but not set up quite the same way. A few of them were set up differently, but the majority of the shots, I'd say that 15 out of 16 I've seen. In fact, one of them, or two of them, I had to shoot in the Nationals in Columbus 2 years ago. And so those were very familiar with me, and I had those pretty much down, but they made a few additions to some of the other ones, and those are the ones I had to work on in practice.
Okay. And you certainly did a super job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Really, Tom, an outstanding job and a berth in the World Championships in November.
Thanks.
And so Jimmy Mattia finishes in third place. He picks up a total of $400. Our second place finisher, Paul Gurney. And Paul will win $600. And the champion from Decatur, Illinois, Tom Rossman, getting the McMaster green jacket and a check for $1,000. Next Sunday at 12:30, be sure to join Tom Pippins and Jerry Brysath for the exciting final round of the men's 9-ball competition next Sunday, 12:30. From the McDermott Masters World Open Pool Tournament in Milwaukee, you've been watching the finals of the trick shot competition. I'm Hank Stoddard. My thanks to Jerry Brysath for his expert analysis. So long for now.